Not the Green Wave Coaches Show, but Sumner County Football Media Days, brought to you by Birdie Bros, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Volunteer Fence, and Steve Schrum, Simply Home Real Estate. I almost got tempted to say the Green Wave Coaches Show here because we're talking to Gallatin.
Yeah.
Talking to head coach Michael Stroup, as we have on Main Street Media Television for the last 2 seasons. Coach Stroup entering his 3rd year at the helm. Coach Stroup, where are you kind of mentally right now in July?
It's season's upon us. You know, we're in the thick of things, and had a 7-on-7 today with White House, and we traveled to Davidson Academy tomorrow, and we'll compete with them in Overton and Antioch, and then on Friday we'll go to Greenwood, Kentucky, and I think there's a 17-team tournament up there. We'll get in, and it's here.
Last we talked to you, the biggest emphasis that you kind of put on the season as a whole last year was we're just going to hit each other, hit each other hard.
Yep.
Haven't been able to do that this summer, but how were you able to accomplish that over the spring?
I think the spring was a good testament to our core values in that regard. We got after each other and was able to go scrimmage Antioch, and not Antioch, but Rockville,
Okay.
and put on a good showing defensively, and that's what I was kind of that was my main goal. Where we're at defensively, and Coach Russell has come aboard with us and has done a great job so far with the scheme and getting the right pieces in the right places, and the kids have responded well, and they fly the football and make great contact right now. Wrap up, get to it.
That's one of the new additions to this staff for Gallatin. Joel Goff, another one, a former head coach, coming on to help your staff. But Brent Russell coming on to maybe shore up the defense a little bit. How much of a difference has that made, him coming from Beach?
Oh, it's made a big difference. Kids, like I said, the kids have responded. Coaching staff has done a really good job welcoming him in, and we've made a couple of changes. We took Garrett Preston and who coached running backs in the past for us, and moved him over to the defensive side of the ball, and like you said, got Joel Goff on board. Me and Joel go back a long way over in West Tennessee, and I was a young blonde-headed assistant football coach, had hair.
Your hair's blonde?
Well, it's probably gray now. But he was a head coach, and when I was an assistant coach at Adamsville, and we had that relationship, and I knew he was in the area, and so the opportunity arose, and you got to seize those opportunities when you get a guy like Joel Goff, because he's not only a good coach, but he's just a good man and a good mentor for our kids.
This was something I wanted to ask you about, and something I'll ask Brent about a little bit as well. Beach deployed a kind of an unconventional scheme last year.
Deployed. Military term right there, guys.
Journalism word put out, their scheme, the 3 high safeties. Is that something that you guys are toying with right now, or was that more so just from the personnel that they had?
Well, we'll be multiple. I've got a little 3 high safety background in my suitcase. We ran it at USJ. But right now we're just trying to get a scheme in, and trying to get the kids familiar with the basics, and we'll branch off from when we need to.
Gallatin went 3-7 last year after a standout first season at the helm of Gallatin. Are you able to assess kind of what happened there from a breakout first year to what some people would maybe call a sophomore slump?
Well, I think that with the way the season started, we started out offensively kind of slow. We struggled to get the ball. You go back and you look at the offensive production, and it's kind of like, man, it's just hindsight's 20/20. But you go look at it on from afar, and we're not scoring points, or we're not getting first downs. But then you look at it and you look at the number of snaps we're getting, so we're not really getting the ball back, and that's where defense kind of comes in, and you've got to get off the field on 3rd downs, which we've had trouble doing that in the past. And we finished up. I mean, you take our last game of the season, and we had 89 offensive snaps and over 500 yards of offense. and we got beat.
Wow.
So, I mean, you've got to win those games,
Right.
and so we've got to be able to play really good defense, and I'm a defensive guy by trade. If they don't score, they can't win, and that's the philosophy that I was taught, and it's kind of what I preach today. If we score, we might win.
But if they don't,
defense wins championships.
The age-old adage there.
Yeah.
So you took action in aggressiveness and in staff additions to shore up that defense a little bit. Mm-hmm. What did you do offensively? Any adjustments, any changes there, or is it more of the same?
Well, we're going to go too tight wishbone this year, and see that look.
See
that look.
See now.
See.
Any other coach in the county throws that on me, I halfway fall for it.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't know. Yeah, if
didn't.
you saw there was a look. Come on,
yeah.
Come on. Don't throw that on me right here.
It's just personnel stuff, and putting the right kids in the right spots, and we've got to replace Jeremiah Williams, and we think we have a guy there that can do that. He's got a lot of room to grow. I think athletically he can do it. He makes great catches for us, and has a great competition about him. But it's the little things he's gonna have to improve on, and a lot of those guys are like that. But they've come a long way, And we talked about sweeping the sheds the other day, and it's just it's a term from the legacy book talking about the All Blacks. And we talk about doing the little things, and it's no job is too big, no job is too small, and everybody doing their part, and whether that's picking up the practice field or sweeping up the locker room or taking trash out, everybody's got to be a part of it, and it's not what you do on the field all the time; it's what you do off of it too that matters. So, we're growing in that retrospect. So it's been good, but it's just I think we've grown as a offensive staff. We understand, you're going into year 3. I think they kind of know what, I expect. And, Coach Paul Pitts is, I've given him co-offensive coordinator title, so he's going to be more involved in the everyday game planning and whatnot. That way I can kind of get back to being a CEO and being on both sides of the ball and managing the game, and it's a whole lot easier. It's hard to be a head coach and also be a head offensive coordinator at the same time,
Play caller with that, right?
Yeah, 100%. So, I felt like last year there were times where I could have been needed on different areas of the ball during the course of a game. But, when you're locked in and, you're trying to score points and you're kind of stuck on one side of the fence a little bit, it's kind of hard to flip the switch. So, I think this year I'll have a lot more freedom into doing that.
Offensively, want to work outside in with you, with your position groups. You mentioned Jeremiah Williams, record-setting receiver at Gallatin, went on to Campbellsville. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
You mentioned one face there, didn't give a name with it, but how have these receivers taken on different roles with Jeremiah and some other guys graduating?
Well, I think I think we've got more depth at receiver because we're working more kids. In the past 2 years, it's just kind of been like, we may have 3, 4, maybe 5 kids that can get out there and play for us. Now I feel like we can put 6 or 7 guys out there and not miss a beat. Now, obviously, some of them are more athletically gifted than the others, but they all, as long as you know what to do, right, and that's just half the battle. And then you got to be able to catch the ball and move the ball. But if you go out there, I don't care if if you take a 4.4 guy and a guy that runs a 5.2. Right, but the 4.4 guy can't figure it out. He don't know how to run a slant, or he doesn't know how to run a dig route and get in the windows. Yeah. But that 5.2 guy does. All right.
You prioritize the fundamental of route running over the speed.
Well, anything. I would hope any coach would prioritize the fundamentals. And it's the old term that coaches use. Sometimes you look like Tarzan, play like Jane. So But we got guys there that we think that have really put the work in, and they're trying to learn what the right things to do. So I've been pleased in that aspect, and again, we just trying to get a first down, and running back Malachi Harper and Cage Johnson, CJ Thornton are doing great jobs for us back there. So it's been a good offseason.
Talking a little bit about that running back room, you struggled to find a defined lead back a year ago. Mm-hmm. Cage Johnson did have some time. Malachi Harper did as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Did Cage Johnson get any bigger? He was. This was a kind of a small kid that was able to maybe reel off some bigger runs a year ago.
Yeah, I think his head got bigger, but not in a self-confidence way. I think it just got bigger.
What allows him to have success at kind of a smaller size in that position?
I don't know if it's his size or it's his work ethic. I think I'm going to lean on his work ethic. He's very coachable. There's not a whole lot of conversation when you tell him what to do. It's like, yes, sir. I'll get it fixed. Or, he's just a very coachable kid. And so he does a really good job for us back there. He is undersized, but again, he's coachable. It's going back to doing the little things. And, that's what got him on the field last year as a sophomore, because he did the little things right. And he's just got to build on it this year.
Is there a lead back, you feel like, or is it going to be more of a stable like you had last year?
Well, I think that right now, I think Malachi Harper is probably our lead back right now. He has come I'm so proud of that kid right there. He has come a long way as far as maturity and how he basically responds to coaching. When I first got there, it was a little rough around the edges, but now he's one of those kids. It's like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. And it's just it's the growth process, man. When you establish those relationships with kids and they start responding, man, it's kind of a great thing. Now I don't know what the future holds for him on the football field as far as I don't know if he'll rush for 1,000 yards or 500 yards, but I'm full confident that he's going to give everything he's got.
And I mean, running the football is going to be a necessity for you guys. I mean, that had to have been kind of more of an emphasis offensively through the offseason, right?
Yeah,
trying to find production there.
Yeah, we want to be able to pound the rock. Again, we get a lot of we probably give a lot of attention at the quarterback position, and we throw it every down, but we really don't. We're pretty even in our run pass, but we want to be able to keep defenses honest and be able to run the football when need be.
Yeah, going back to what you said about the receivers and having depth there, and kind of tying in with what you just said about the perception maybe of how this offense works. Is that a product of you and the staff employing this offense a couple of years ago? Maybe the wide receivers being trained a little bit more 3 years ago to now?
Yeah, well, I think, again, it's a growth. And you come into a situation where they historically have never thrown the football a whole heck of a lot. So, you're teaching kids how to run option routes. And, you don't have a route tree per se. You just have, all right, we're going to run this route. But if this defender does this, then we're going to be able to do that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little bit more advanced in that in that area. But you've got guys like, Justin Cagle and Ani Scott, Xavier McMurray has done a heck of a job for us. JoJo McMurray, Christian Gentry, Caleb Hodge over there, TC, has done a really good job for us. Tylen Cole.
That is a big room.
Yeah, and Ryan Williams is over there. He's catching balls. He caught a big ball for us today. Josh York over there. He's doing well for us. So I mean, we've got a lot more depth. And again, some of them are more athletically gifted than the others. But again, all I'm looking for is guys who's going to go out there and do the right thing. Are you going to sit down in the right window? Are we going to be on time with the quarterback? Then we got to be able to catch football. And build confidence from that. We got some young guys out there. Christian Gentry's a young guy, he's a sophomore. But he runs routes hard. He gets after it. got to work on catching the football a little bit more consistently. But that comes with youth and inexperience. Sometimes you get a little big-eyed. But Caleb Hodge is doing a really good job over there as well for us. He's come along, so he's starting to learn the system a little bit better. So we got a lot of options over there.
Talking with Gallatin football coach Michael Stroup for Sumner County Media Days, day 2 here at Birdie Bros. Be sure to check us out. We're here until 8:30. Gallatin isn't. Gallatin's here until 7. You can be here till 8:30 if you wanted to.
I don't know if it's in your budget.
We're brought to you by Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, and Steve Shrum, Simply Home Real Estate. Closing out the position groups on offense, I feel like the aggressiveness that you mentioned at the end of last season also ties into the offensive line. Mm-hmm. How much tougher have you guys gotten in the trenches?
Coach Pitts does a great job with our offensive line, and I think we've got about, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 guys who can contribute on the offensive line right now. We've got Gabe Granados at left tackle right now, Jason York at left guard, J.J. Tobert at center, and then we rounded out with some seniors on the front side over there, and that's Landon Peebler and Jamie Harden. So, it's those guys right there. A lot of them are 3-year starters. A lot of them are, so, we just gotta get after it, and Coach Pitts will do a good job to get those guys ready and get our quarterback protected and get some running lanes for our backs.
What did he do to make them? The word you used last year was meaner.
Yeah.
Need them to get meaner down there.
Well, it's raw meat and buckshot. All right. So the old saying for offensive linemen is you treat them like mushrooms, right? And you know how you grow mushrooms, right?
I do not.
All right. You grow mushrooms, and I'm gonna keep it PG. But you grow mushrooms, you keep them in the dark, so you don't tell them a whole lot, and you just feed them a bunch of crap, right? So, that's how you grow offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. Write that down, everybody.
Yeah, that's we got a takeaway story coming for Sumner County Media Days. I might have the mushroom analogy fit in there. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule that you guys have coming up. Taking one key game, one kind of marquee game from each team's schedule, and week 2 is a fun one for you guys, getting to play Franklin, former Gallatin assistant,
the
Josh
Rebels.
Adkins. Oh, Admirals.
I'm going to call them the Rebels. They're Rebels.
What
how do you go from a rebel to an admiral?
Not my call.
Is that a...
you got to ask the Williamson County School Board. Sounds like.
Is that a demotion?
And then you're trying to get me now.
You're
trying to trap me here.
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, no.
Are you going to be scared of a rebel, or are you going to be scared of an admiral?
What was the conversation with Coach Adkins like scheduling that, wanting to play each other?
I think it was, it just happened. The thing with the scheduling and how it is now, it's kind of frustrating because TWSAA keeps it a secret until the last second. And so, as a coach, just me, and I imagine every coach across the state, where we used to go into a room and we would go into a room with other region coaches or whatever region you might be in, and we draw numbers or whatever it may be, and then we set the region schedule, and then we would go out and find non-region games, right? And so everybody would have their meetings on different days. You try to get it done as quick as the regular season would be over as possible. That way you got enough time, because what you don't want to do is drag it out and then go to the big state meeting, and then you walking in there and you're looking for game 10,
right?
And then who else is looking for game 10?
Yeah,
you don't want to be in that pool, right? So now with the TWSAA keeping everything a secret, and there's an official shortage, and they've got to do the scheduling and all that, it's taking it out of our hands. And once we get it, I think we got it during Thanksgiving break. on a Monday, and so I mean I'm on the phone with Dustin Wilson at Springfield, and we're trying to get we want to keep our game, but it just didn't work out because the region schedule didn't match up with their region schedule, so they had different weeks of non-region games and whatnot. But
that would have been a fun one.
But we kept it the jamboree, that way we could keep it going.
Okay.
But we've got to be able to, so me and Josh, we just kind of got on the phone. It was just one of those things like, hey, we're familiar with each other, we know each other, so let's just, let's make this happen. So, and there's familiarity with Josh being at Gallatin and whatnot, and so, they have nice facilities down there, and so, it'd be good for our kids to go down there and see it.
Another game on the schedule, non-region action, is against the Beach in October.
Mm-hmm.
A game that is good for Sumner County to have, I feel like. 6A used to be a region game, now getting to match up after a couple of years away.
5A.
Was it 5A?
I think they were all in 5A at one time. Pretty sure.
I'll double check that. We'll
double check your facts. Fact check that.
Yeah, fact check. Put a fact check.
I mean, I've only been here for 2 years. I don't know.
Well, I've only been here for 2 years.
That's no excuse. You do this every day.
Just kind of talk about that a little bit. The importance of having that kind of rivalry back in the area.
Yeah, I think that a program like Beach and a program like Gallatin, they need to play each other, and I mean, it's a good contest, and it's good for the like you said, it's good for the county, it's good for the communities, and it's fun. We want to pack the stadiums on those games, and we got new lighting over at Gallatin, so Beach can come over there and feel like they can watch a game. So I mean, it's going to be brighter over there, so it'd be good for them.
Sumner County gauntlet that you go through a little bit. Hendersonville, of course, week 1. And want to ask you in a second about that game. Also got Station Camp again, and then Beach on top of that. How important is it for you to win that game, that first week game against Hendersonville?
I think it's important that we play well. I think it's important that a win's important, right?
Be your first against Hendersonville.
Mine?
Right?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some shootouts, I felt like, the past 2 years. I think it's important for us to go out and play well, start fast, and finish it. I think that we've had our issues in the last 2 years, whatever they may be. But again, I think it's not. We're a month and 2 weeks away from that game, right? So I mean, there's a lot that that's going to happen in between now and then, and it's like I told the kids today. We're talking about complacency, and it's very easy for guys to. Coach Harper, girls soccer coach, right there, just
I'll be on in a little bit.
Tickled me. But I think it's important for those guys to stay hungry and not get complacent. And it's very easy for these teenage kids and even, communities to kind of get in complacent and expect to win and do all this other stuff and, basically rely on the past. And, it's just different, and now it's a different time, and, we've got to go out there, Gallatin, and earn it and build those calluses back up and get back to the hard part. And that's outworking our opponents. And, Coach Beasley does a great job over at Henderson. I respect the mess out of him. He's always been very good to me since I've got to Sumner County. And so I respect those guys, and I don't think of it much as a rivalry because they're really good guys over there. But I know the community does, and once we hit the field on Friday nights, and I'll feel that a little bit more. But yeah, it's important to get off on the right foot. 1-0 is always a hell of a lot better than 0-1.
Let's talk a little bit about your quarterback, your son, Jackson, and just the development that you've seen from him, maybe from 3 years ago when he took a varsity job at Gallatin and kind of ran with it. Last year set records at the school, and albeit a difficult season.
Yeah.
Where is his mindset kind of jumped, and how has his development been since last season?
I think he learned a heck of a lot last year. I think he probably, he did. He put too much pressure on himself, and he wanted the team to succeed, and maybe he tried to do a little bit too much, and probably. And we talked about. That's funny you asked that, because we talked about it this morning as a team, and I brought him up. He probably. He probably didn't prepare the way he did as a sophomore. Complacency, right? Not that he got lazy. It was just it's the little things, and you got to keep doing the little things. And it's the extra 20 minutes of film. It's the extra taking notes. Like, he does a really good job. I've always thought of he takes notes, and he breaks down his opponent, and he looks for weaknesses, looks for their strengths. And so he probably got away from that last year. And every year's different. Every day's different. And so he told me, about a month ago, we sat down and he finally talked about last season. So he
hadn't talked about it until that point.
Right. And so, he kind of opened up to me and said, hey, this is going to be a little bit different for me. I'm going to get back to what I used to do and what we used to do. And, he'll go down there and he'll break down, like the other day he broke down practice film, and he broke down his footwork all the way down to the timing of his throws and the routes of the receivers. And then he meets with the receivers and he talks to them about their routes and how the timing needs to fit up with that. So I think he learned a lot last year, and but he's also got to understand, it doesn't fall on his shoulders. I think he kind of, you can. I don't say you read the press, but you kind of hear the talk, and it's he's still 16, 17 years old.
Sure.
He's a kid, and sometimes I think we probably put a lot of attention or pressure on kids, and say, hey, you're the face of this, you're the face of that. When he's just like anybody else. He wants to go home and sometimes get on that PS5 and just, play Madden or NCAA. So,
you ever play his dad in those games?
He used to. I beat him too bad. So he got really good, and I just couldn't keep up with it anymore. But he's a very good leader. He leads the guys very well, and I'm proud of him. I don't care if he throws. He doesn't throw for another yard. I'm proud of the man he is. His mother has done a heck of a job raising him, and I'm trying not to screw it up.
And as a dad, I've kind of asked you, about the dad perspective of coach quarterback dynamic these last 3 years. But going into his senior season, I'm sure you have high expectations. Not for him, but you want to see your son hit, as a team have success. For his sake, right?
Well, it depends how you define success.
Team success. I mean.
Well, but what is that? Is that 10-0, or is that when you walk off the field and everybody says, he's a heck of a teammate?
That's how you view it.
That's how I define success.
Yeah.
When 20 years from now, where you're not going to remember moments of a game. And I've been fortunate to be in some pretty big games in my life, but I don't remember half of them, But I do remember the moments and the relationships I had with either the coaches or the players I was with, and so that's the definition of success. And I think that gets lost in translation with a lot of parents and coaches. It's what kind of person are you building? What kind of man are you developing? And if I can develop him into just being a good husband and a good person in the community and being a leader in the community, whatever community he chooses to be a part of, that's success for me.
That's kind of what you've wrung out, I think, over the 3 years here at Gallatin's. The goal is to create good members of society,
Yeah.
not just good football players.
Right.
Jackson, in his own right, we'll talk to him in a second, is a good football player. A couple more and we'll get you out of here, Coach Stroup. Typically don't ask about the special teams unit in July, but graduated kicker Max Kelly, who went on to South Carolina, really good decorated career at Gallatin. How is that kind of looking, developing the next kicker and punter, because he was a successful punter as well?
Yeah, we have full confidence in Austin Ashenbrenner. He is he'll be a junior, and has as good as leg as Max does.
Wow.
Now Max made considerable leaps going into his junior year to his senior year, and we think Austin can be there too. Last year as a sophomore, or we're playing JV games and he's kicking it, 8-9 yards deep in the end zone, and everybody's like, well, why ain't this kid kicking for you on Friday nights? Well, I got this kid over here named Max Kelly,
Right.
And it was hard for probably Austin to probably sit over there where he knew he could probably be kicking anywhere else and be starting. But Austin does a really good job. I have to kind of get onto him every once in a while because he wants to sit over and kick about 500 balls. But he's going to be really good in the kickoff department. I think in the extra point field goal, we're working on the punting. We probably have a couple of options there. He's got when he connects, he can punt the mess out of it. But it all goes back to his drops, and me and him kind of talk about that. Being consistent with his drops a little bit, and but Christian Gentry's also can help us out in the punting department a little bit. So
Wide receiver punter.
Yeah.
Interesting combo there.
yeah.
Last one, I want to see if I can egg this out of you. What thoughts do you have on the TSSAA transfer rule?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah.
About the transfer?
If there is a coach in Sumner County that I could ask this question to, it's Gallatin's Michael Stroup.
I think that they're. I don't put any blame on the team. I don't think it's their rule. I think they were forced into it, and I think you got people that forced them into it that have their own objectives. I think there are some stupid rules out there, that the TSSAA puts in or enforces. Dead period be one of them.
I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
hoping for you kind of campaign there for a shorter dead period.
I mean,
right?
you want to get heat acclimation, but you want to put them in the air conditioner for 2 weeks, and we get back, and it don't take that long to lose all you worked for. But anyway, going back to transfer, I think it just piggybacks off the travel ball world. If I'm not happy, then I'm gonna go over here and try to be happy. Well, you're not gonna go over there and be happy. You're gonna be, if you're a kid looking to transfer and because you're not getting playing time and you think you're gonna go down the road and get more playing time, and you've got a coach over there, singing your praises to get you over there, well, you're not going to play over there either. It's just it is what it is. And kids are very influential, and parents are too. It's easy, if you got a coach out there and it happens all the time. There's coaches out there that will make contact with players, and there's actually there's parents out there that are part of the other programs that will make contact with players of other schools, and they think that's fine, but guess what? That's illegal too. So it's hard. I don't think it's easy. It's kind of like the NIL and the transfer portal in college. It's killed high school football recruiting. And I think this is not going to do anything but hurt high school sports. Eventually somebody's going to create a mega team.
Super team.
It's
Sure.
it's going to happen. It's probably already happened a few times.
Yeah.
So I don't think you teach. I don't think the kids get taught anything like adversity. It's just, well, if it's too hard here and I can't get my way, then I'll just go somewhere else. and I'll say I got, mental issues or something and go on.
It's an interesting age of high school athletics and sports as a whole. Where I can speak for myself and say I'm excited to be living in it. Glad to. It's fun to report on sometimes.
What, the transfer portal?
All of it. I mean,
just sports in general?
Sports, NIL, transfer portal. It's a fun age for me to be alive in.
It's terrible. You like that?
Well, no, I don't like. I'm not promoting it at all, but
you write about it.
Live with
you write about it.
Well, am I supposed to not write about it?
You're promoting it.
Well, I mean, part of the job.
But if you ignored it, it'd probably just go away.
Oh, you can't say that.
Well, that's why kids jump in the portal, because they want attention. They want to get re-recruited. Mm-hmm. Some kids right there would rather be. I saw a list of like high school transfer portals, like in Commercial Appeal or something. I can't remember what it was. But what are we doing? What are we promoting? Right? Because the kids that jump in the portal they just want to get re-recruited. They love the idea of getting recruited more than they want to play. There's kids out there have been at 7 schools.
You're right.
And they hadn't played it down.
But
and we report about it.
We could get in the weeds about it, but I think that even if the reporting aspect of it didn't exist, I think it would still happen. The transfer.
But why glorify it?
Players still transferred before the transfer portal, reporting existed.
Yeah, but they transferred. But there were people that transferred years ago from Division I to FCS.
Yeah.
Did anybody report about that? No, they didn't.
Michael Stroup sharing his thoughts on Sumner County Media Days.
My thoughts are right.
Beyond your thoughts, excited to cover your team for this season, Coach. Excited to talk with a couple of your players. Coming up on the other side of this break, we'll have quarterback Jackson Stroup and new linebacker Andy Brock. Stay tuned. You're watching Sumner County Media Days on Main Street Media Television.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence, located in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions, and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our non-Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
Thank you to our sponsors for Sumner County Media Day, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Volunteer Fence, Steve Shrum, Simply Home Real Estate, and our host sponsor, Birdie Bros, Chris Jones here. Big part in getting us a home for Sumner County Media Days. We thank you so much for having us here. And,
our pleasure.
Tell us about Birdie Bros.
Yeah, so we had this crazy wild idea, my business partner and I, a couple of years ago, to bring indoor golf and a sports bar concept kind of together. I've lived in Hendersonville, since 1994, and realized that there's not a lot to do up here. And so we decided to change that and bring a little bit of, unfortunately people characterize it as, it's Top Golf, but inside. And that's kind of what we've ran with for a little bit. But we're a sports bar at heart, first and foremost. And then we've got 7 indoor golf simulators that you can come and enjoy as much as you want, whether it's trying to hone in your golf skills or just a night out and looking for some entertainment with your kids or anything in between. So
Can release some stress knocking some balls down too, huh?
Absolutely.
I've
Absolutely.
heard great things about the menu too. Our photographer John Decker said he got an ice cream cookie a little while ago, and
That little cookie skillet.
the burger was really good. Tell us about what we've got on the menu.
Yeah, so we've got, we actually just redid our menu about 30 days ago. So the burger that he was talking about is actually one of our most popular. It's an American Wagyu burger. It's a big, massive half-pound burger that people really love and enjoy. But yeah, we characterize our menu as an elevated sports bar feel. So there's lots of sports bars, whether it's Buffalo Wild Wings or others in the area. But we kind of go above and beyond with our scratch kitchen in the back and making sure that we're homemaking sauces. We're trying to step out of the traditional as much as possible to give people a different experience. So we're here for that, and hopefully people will come by and give us a try. A lot of people also are very timid. They think that, Birdie Bros, and they hear the name and they go, oh, it's just golf. And it's like, guys, you can come and have a great meal. You can come and have lunch. We've got lots of specials throughout the week, so would love to see if we can have anybody out and see what their thoughts are, get some feedback.
Oh, he's making me hungry with this menu. Be sure to check out Birdie Bros all throughout this week for Sumner County Media Days here in Indian Lake. A great location, great place for some golf, some food, some drinks. We'll be here all week, but even beyond that, be sure to check out Birdie Bros. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome, appreciate it.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Shrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards? Steve Shrum with Simply Home 2006-2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Shrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Shrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Shrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Shrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveshrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Sumner County Media Days continue here at Birdie Bros. Come check us out from 4 to 8:30 here off Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville. Brought to you by Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Steve Shrum Simply Home Real Estate. Got a couple of Gallatin players with me now. Linebacker Andy Brock came in from Beach with his stepdad, right?
Yes,
Defensive coordinator Brent Russell, Jackson Stroup, the quarterback. Wanted to start off asking you guys kind of the same question. You both kind of had similar connection, a route to Gallatin. Son of a coach's kid. Your dad was a head coach for a while. Your dad is a head coach. Were you able to click and connect right away because of that?
Oh yeah, Andy was the first one to text me after my dad had told me we're gonna hire Brent from Beach and he's got a son, and I contacted Andy and we've had a connection ever since.
Yeah, Andy, what was it like coming over from Beach and trying to get yourself familiar with the program, but as an upperclassman, wanting to be a leader with that?
It was a big adjustment, but the best way to describe it was like walking into a warm hug. It was a brand new community, and I didn't know many people. Like Jack was one of the only people I knew before I transferred, and it was an immediate welcome. Everybody wanted to invite you to things. They wanted to get to know you. It was just a very warm welcome, which I was really pleased with.
How are you, through this off season and going into this year at Gallatin, trying to cement a spot as a leader on the team, both kind of just as a vocal guy maybe, but also on the field? You had a great season at Beach a year ago, part of a really successful defense. How do you translate that to going to Gallatin now?
A big thing that we've been talking about is unifying the team as one. And I've had experience on a very unified team, and so trying to implement those same things. And somebody messes up, we're not breaking them down. We're going to pick them up. We're going to keep our heads high. And one thing we've been focused on, especially defensively, is tell everybody one good thing they did after every play. Even if it was busted coverage, go up to a D lineman, tell them they had a great rush. So trying to bring over those same core values of picking everybody up instead of tearing them down has been a great success in terms of unifying our team and unifying our defense.
Playing in that defense at Beach last year, schematically, how similar, how different is it for what you guys are putting on the field now at Gallatin?
There's been an adjustment. It's a different type of. There's different athletes year by year, and even at Beach we change schemes every year to kind of fit the guys that we have. So I feel like, Dad, Coach Russell has done a fantastic job, assessing the guys that we have and building a scheme based off those athletes and utilizing them in the best positions that they can be used in.
You guys can both kind of comment on this. How do you describe being a head coach or an assistant coach now, a coach's kid? What has that lifestyle been like growing up in that?
There's a lot of pressure. You're kind of the magnifying glass. But I've grown around football my whole life. I've been around it ever since I was little, so it's no different than it was 10, 12 years ago. And, there's pressure, but, pressure's okay if you can handle it, and that's the kind of big thing.
Andy, what do you have to add to that?
I think it's a learning curve. Seeing guys that I've grown up around, I've grown up in a collegiate locker room, and I've grown up in a high school locker room. So being able to see the qualities of a good leader, I've seen qualities of a good leader and qualities of a bad leader, but it's learning how do I implement the qualities of good leaders that I've seen previously, and it's learning how to do that yourself. But now that we've got it, it's very unifying.
One thing that was told to me off the air during the Green Wave Coaches Show a year ago that I wanted to ask Jackson about a little bit. If you go back in the archives, Coach Stroup said one of his hobbies was painting. He's a skilled painter, apparently so, because when you were baby Jackson,
yes,
he created the mural above your crib with a couple of great quarterbacks.
I had Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Russell Wilson. They were all three right there.
So was it predestined for you to be a quarterback then?
Well, Dad won't tell you, but probably yes.
Do you get to, we haven't seen the photo. We haven't seen the mural. Is there any evidence of it? How good was it?
It was pretty legit. It was pretty detailed and defined. I'm sure there's a photo of it somewhere. It's probably low quality because it was taken in probably 2010. But it's
2010.
It's definitely there somewhere.
I think of poor quality photos. I'm thinking of the 90s, not 2010. That could have been shot on That could have been on an iPhone. It could have been on an iPod.
There's no telling what it was on.
Coach Stroup just mentioned that last year got away from the preparation maybe that you had 2 years ago. Can you kind of elaborate on what that looked like and what you're trying to get back to this year?
Well, I had a car. I got a car, and I had duties to take my younger brother to school, and I think that kind of messed with the original schedule I had my sophomore year, and that was go in, watch film in the morning, go to school. And, this year I've been day in and day out of practice, taking notes. I've got a notebook. It's probably about 40, 50 sheets long of just, criticizing myself because you're never going to be the best person you can be if you don't look yourself in the mirror and discover your wrongs. So I think that's what I'm getting back to. What
did you notice in your time of film study that you made up for? What could you see mechanically that maybe could be corrected?
Well, it's just human nature that you fall off what you build, and I kind of have some mechanical. I had some mechanical issues, arm maybe getting too low, feet not getting deep enough in the pocket. But this year, man, I've just been hammering on. I just want to be the best. I want to be my sophomore year. I want to beat my sophomore year. Last year, it is what it is. We didn't have a great year. But, hopefully we can flip that around this year.
How did the pieces around you develop in a way that kind of gives you confidence that you could do something like that?
We've got some crazy athletes, and, they're not 6'4", 6'5", 225-pound receivers, but they're smart. And I'll take a smart receiver who can play football and know football over a big guy who's, just out there, right? And I think we're speedy. I think we're speedy, and I think we're smart on both sides of the ball. And I think that's going to help out a whole lot.
Now, you graduated Jeremiah Williams, a couple of other senior receivers. How have those roles kind of been redefined in the receiver group?
Well, we have Ontarius Scott, who's our slot now. He backed up Jeremiah, was I would say a decently big part of the offense last year. I have a great connection with him, Justin Cagle on the outside, and Christian Gentry and Caleb Hodge and Ryan Williams. Those guys, man, they love football, and if you love football, it'll take you a really far place.
Yeah. Andy, kind of flipping over to you here. Coach Stroup talked a lot about wanting to become an aggressive, a mean defense in the offseason. How much familiarity did your dad kind of have in making a mean defense, either at Beach or before?
He's got all the familiarity. He was an aggressive guy growing up, and it's just carried over to his coaching style, and we love it. It's every day. We start practice. It don't matter if we're going offense first, defense first, tackling circuit comes first. And we're running Midnight Alley, we're running Oklahoma Drill, we're running whatever it is, we're popping right when the whistle starts practicing. And it's a great way to set the tone, and that tone carries from the first whistle to the final. And it's done wonders for our defense.
I'm going to ask your dad about this, going to ask you about this. I want to ask Jackson about it too. Talked about a couple of games on the schedule that are kind of highlight ones. The game against Beach is good for Sumner County. Good to have these two teams go up against each other. There's probably some motivation for you and your dad. Are you excited for that game, or is there one that pops out on the schedule that you really kind of circle already?
I'm excited for Beach. Not only I know Andy has some loose ends he wants to tie up, so and that's gonna fire me up because I'm gonna do it for that guy right there, right? And if I had to circle a game, to be honest, it's Hendo and Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, Hendo, we've been close every year. But, I really want to play Mount Juliet again at home. Because I felt that game got away from us at the end.
You had a lot of opportunities these last 2 years against Hendersonville and Mount Juliet. Those feel like similar games when you look at the schedule last year and the year before. Mm-hmm. You take a couple of lumps throughout the game, have a chance to win it on the last drive, and then it just doesn't go your way.
Right.
Is that how you kind of view those matchups with those teams?
I think the Hendo game last year, we just started slow. And, you can't start slow as an offense. You got to start fast. You got to be out the gates. And with Mount Juliet, man, it's just bad blood. It's just a bad blood game. And, people talk about Hendo, and I know the history of Hendo and Gallatin, but I really don't like Mount Juliet. And I'm sorry, Coach Perry. I don't mean that in any negative way. But, that's a game I'm looking forward to. They're a great team, great coach. And I feel like every time we play them, it's a shootout. And I felt like last year kind of got away from us. And my sophomore year, it was, that last second kind of slipped out of our hands. But yeah. I'm looking forward to that game.
Andy, walking into this schedule, which games excite you?
Man, I got that Beach game circled in red. I got thumbtacks on it. I got it magnified, whatever the case may be. But besides Beach, like Jack said, I'm really looking forward to HHS Week 1. It's this 3-7 record that's been hanging over our locker room's head is not going to be what Gallatin is this year. And some people might not believe that, and that's fine, but they're going to learn. And our first opportunity to show that is Week 1. And it's going to come out. It's going to be pads popping. There's going to be balls in the end zone, and it's not going to be theirs.
Boy, Pat.
And
what gives you guys confidence that not only that game will go the way that you think it will, but the season as a whole, that last year was kind of just a fluke?
I think we just got a bunch of guys who love football. And if you like I said, if you love football, man, it'll take you places you don't even know exist. And, I think that's a big thing. If you love football, if you got a group of guys in the locker room who love football, who do it for one another, it's pretty special.
Andy, you were part of a really good team at Beach last year. Seemed like that kind of camaraderie was maybe there. I mean, is that similar to this Gallatin team. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, and it's not only guys that love football, but it's guys who are hungry to win games. They don't want to be 3-7 last year.
Yeah.
They want to go 15-0, and they're going to do everything in their power to work to achieve that.
Jackson, we'll close out talking a little bit about your recruitment. Picked up your first FCS offer not too long ago from VMI. Trip to Kentucky Wesleyan, right? And then UVA Wise as well. What have you kind of picked up through this recruiting cycle? What have coaches kind of been telling you?
I love all the guys who, have reached out and everything. I love Coach McFarland up at Wise, and I love the staff at VMI and Wesleyan. Man, it's different. It's a whole lot different than it has been in the last 10 years. I'll tell you that.
College recruiting?
It's a lot harder, and that just holds the bar a little higher, and that's what you got to chase. And we went up to VMI the other week, and I really wasn't expecting an offer because I just got in contact with the quarterback coach and the recruiting coordinator, but he came down in the spring. But Coach Rocco was like, "We'll give you a full scholarship,"
Wow.
And my mom was sat there and she was like about to cry, and I was like,
A special moment for you and your family, right?
Right. But I'm never satisfied as an athlete. I've never been. Like today, we're out there with White House, and there's no need for me to go back in because we've had 6 or 7 drives, but I just want to play ball. Like last year against Warren County, we're up 55-0.
Yeah.
Now at halftime, I'm like, just give me one more series because I'm just hungry, and I love playing football, and I think that's where I stand.
Never satisfied. I think there's not a game that better exemplifies that than, I think it was the Dixon County game where you reset Gallatin's all-time passing yardage mark and then took possession of the all-time touchdowns record, the all-time yardage record. But you were really tore up that game was a loss.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not the one to talk about myself. It's honestly hard for me to sit here and talk about me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's what's on the win and loss column. That's all that matters. And I'm happy and I'm glad that I've done that for Gallatin and set a new bar. But and I hope somebody can come back and break it. But I was pretty angry that game got away from us.
Yeah. And to kind of close out here, I think you guys can both answer on this. I asked Coach Stroup something similar. And I feel like there's a high expectation for this team as a whole, but individually for yourselves, you probably want to set a high bar to go out on a high note with your dad's coaching you, right?
Sir.
Absolutely.
100%.
No better words spoken there. Jackson Stroup and Andy Brock, thank you guys so much for your time. 100%. Thanks for joining us on Sumner County Media Days. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, new defensive coordinator Brent Russell joins us. Stay tuned on Sumner County Media Days, brought to you by Main Street Media Television.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions, and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our non-Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Shrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards: Steve Shrum with Simply Home 2006, 2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Shrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Shrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Shrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Shrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveshrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence. Located in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
We're back on Sumner County Media Days here at Birdie Bros in Hendersonville, brought to you by Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Steve Shrum, Simply Home Realty. Sumner County Sports Editor here now with new defensive coordinator Brent Russell. Spent a long time, well, formerly at Beach and then a long time in the North Carolina prep game. Yep. You were an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, a head coach over there. Talk a little bit about all the experience you bring to Gallatin and how excited you are to be here.
Real excited to be at Gallatin. Opportunity to be under Coach Stroup. Obviously another head coach who's been to state championship. Fortunate enough to come over from Beach, work for another state championship head coach. So a lot of good coaches in the area. I'm really excited to be where I'm at right now. Like you said, been a head football coach, been a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. Moved here for an opportunity for my wife to have a position with her work, and been fortunate to be around some good football.
Yeah, and kind of what your son Andy and what Jackson were talking about was that this is a really motivated group, a bunch of guys that took the taste of a 3-7 season last year and want to be better from that. How have you noticed that so far?
Well, when you come in off the heels of a disappointing season, which I know a lot of guys at Gallatin feel that way off of last year, you come in, these seniors have really grabbed the bull by the horns, and I've been really impressed with not just Jack and Andy, but the entire senior group, how they've banded together. They've kind of made this cohesive unit in terms of passing down to other guys what we're going to allow, what we're not going to allow in the locker room. So to say they're motivated would be an understatement.
Andy, growing up, pretty much every step of the way with you, how familiar is he with what you're trying to do defensively?
Probably a little too familiar, but Andy, gosh, man, it's a joy to coach your kid, and having him out there is like having me out there. It's an extension of me on the field. And so there's a lot of times you look out there and you watch this kid who's grown up from being a young youth league football player through middle school, JV, freshman ball, and now here he is. He's a varsity football player. And you look out there and he's making these checks, and you think about that in the back of your mind like you didn't know you'd ever get to this day. And then you get to look out there and see your kid make all these checks and get people where they're supposed to be. And then when things aren't going well, to pick people up and be that kind of leader that you always envision them being. So it's been a real joy seeing him grow and mature, and watching him play now and get to spend his senior year at Gallatin is it's pretty special.
The first time I asked Coach Stroup about the father-son connection that he's kind of lived through, he said it's a blessing and a curse, because you see those moments and sometimes you really overlook them and then it's too late.
It can be, because you're in coach mode, right? Yeah. So you see, coaches look through the lens of what can we do better, constantly what can we do better, and he catches the brunt of a lot of that because he's in the car with me, he's at home with me, so he hears my thoughts, my private thoughts and the way I think, and so he embodies that some and takes it personally, and so yeah, it can be a blessing and a curse, but more blessed this year.
For sure. You're tasked with kind of writing a defense that had its issues a year ago. When you come over here from Beach, what are some principles, some key philosophies that you have in your scheme that you're trying to employ right now?
Right now, we're just trying to get physically tough, get kids who are physically tough, get people to the football, and we want to tackle. We want to be the best tackling football team in our region. So we've really put an emphasis on tackling, fundamentals of tackling, lining up correctly, getting to the football, being physical when we get there, arriving with bad intentions to the football, and setting that standard of this is the way we're going to play defensive football.
Is there a stat that you look at that determines a successful defense? Based on what you just said there, maybe it's tackles, but do you pay a lot of attention to turnovers or to sacks or anything like that?
Turnovers are always important, but for me, I want to win third down. So third down's huge for us, and we spend a lot of time on third down and third and short, third and medium, third and long, but we want to win on third down and get off the field and get our offense back to football and give them an opportunity to score.
At Beach, you had an unusual formation last year with that. Was it a 3-3-5 stack? Is that right?
We ran a 3-3-5 defense last year
Yeah.
at Beach, and had some very gifted safeties and had some guys in the box who allowed us to do a lot of different things.
Right.
And we were allowed to move. We could move around, do a lot of different stuff. So last year was fun coaching.
Did you have a lot of familiarity with that formation?
I did not. So I've been a 3-4 guy my career as a defensive coordinator. And so as it came in, we ran a 3-4 or a 50 at Beach first couple of years, and then this past year we changed it up a little bit to take advantage of some of our skill guys there, and coaches did a really good job, and we had a lot of fun with it.
How much freedom is Coach Stroup kind of giving you as defensive coordinator to kind of mold your vision of how you want to have a successful defense like you've had in the past?
Yeah, Coach Stroup's one of those guys, hey, I hired you to do a job, do the job.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I appreciate is he hired me to be defensive coordinator, and he allows me to be the defensive coordinator, and he allows me to have the freedom to do whatever I see fit. And at the end of the day, he wants someone that he can trust to say, hey, this is your unit, stop them so we can get the ball back and score. And that's the only mandate he's given me is, hey, just get us the ball back, and we don't want to win every game by a shootout. So
aggressiveness, kind of the key word that you guys employed through the offseason. How are you applying that to the defense? How are you making these guys meaner and tougher?
Yeah, well, you can make someone physically tougher by practicing tough things. I think the weight room makes kids tough. Practice tackling makes kids tough. Pursuit makes kids tough. When you're out there 95 degrees in full pads running around like crazy, that makes kids tough. And then with our coaches, we have a good group of coaches on the defensive side. We got, Garrett Preston, who's coaching for us. He coached last year running backs, and this year he's with us coaching outside linebackers. We've got, Trustin Kemp coaching D-line for us. And then Cam Thomas, who's back coaching defensive back for
guy
us.
with NFL experience.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill guy. Those guys, I think, know the expectation. They know what we're trying to do defensively. They're not lowering their standards. We're holding our guys accountable and continuing to press. So that's another way, keeping guys tough.
Andy, of course, I think he kind of walks in as a leader of that defense, a guy who's going to try to coordinate that linebacker group. Who else has impressed you in your short time here at Gallatin?
Oh, man, there's so many talented kids at Gallatin. We got a safety, Ryan Williams. We got, Alec Brown, another safety, two guys to me who I can pinpoint from my time in the past, say, gosh, that kid looks just like that kid, right? Jason Morton, the big stud we got up front. Preston Mooney has just been, when I look at Preston Mooney, I think of a kid that we had at Beach named Tyler Nix, and the similarities are uncanny between those two guys. So you look at them and you can see what you've done in the past. I'm really excited with the group we have defensively.
How different is the game of high school football maybe in North Carolina, where you spent so much of your time, compared to the last couple of years in Tennessee?
I would say that there's more importance given to football in Tennessee. In North Carolina, you don't have fourth block football. You don't have all of your guys in one weightlifting period where you can begin coaching and teaching at 1:30 in the day. So I really enjoy being here the last 3 years, being able to start football at 1:30 and not have to stay till 8, 9 o'clock.
Sure, good
late.
for the family too.
Absolutely, get to get home, see the wife and kids.
What connection did you and Coach Stroup make that kind of formed an opportunity for you to join this staff?
Yeah, we met last year or a couple years back during a freshman game, and then this past year I coached in the Sumner County All-Star game, and he had a coach, Brody Reeves, who was on staff there, and got to know Brody through the All-Star game, and so that's how we kind of knew each other. And then when the opportunity came up, he reached out, gave me a call, and we met, talked, and went over a couple things and pulled the trigger.
Are you excited to get to go up against Beach in October, have that game? Your son was pretty amped up about it.
It's pretty easy to say you're excited here in July.
Sure.
We'll see how excited we are in week 8. But, Beach is very well coached. They're a great football team, and they're going to have a lot of talent back this year. Should be a favorite to win the whole thing in 5A. So, you're always excited when you get to see a group that you've coached and been around.
Yeah.
So many great kids over there, so many great relationships, so many kids I still love and care for and want to see them be successful. So excited to see them. I don't know if I'm as excited to play them as Andy is.
One more quick one for you, Coach. 7-on-7 is typically a tougher time for defensive coordinators than offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
What do you take away from this period to try to get your group better?
Well, we don't want to give up busted assignments, right? We want to learn how to align. We want to be able to adjust to motions. And you're going to see everything in 7-on-7. You're going to see quads and empty and some of the things you may not see during the season. But it gives me an opportunity to go back and say, hey, do you remember when we saw this out of X team? And then bring that out in the season when we do see those special situations.
Coach Brent Russell, great stuff from the Gallatin assistant coaching staff. We're going to take one final break for the Green Waves edition of Sumner County Media Days. When we come back, a couple of fall sports coaches are set to join us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on Mainstream Media Television.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Shrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Shrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards: Steve Shrum with Simply Home 2006-2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Shrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Shrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Shrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Shrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveshrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence. Located in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions, and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our non-Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
We're on our last segment of the Gallatin section of Sumner County Media Days here at Birdie Bros in Hendersonville. We're brought to you by K1 Speed, Volunteer Fence, Farmers Bank, and Steve Shrum, Simply Home Real Estate. Scheduled to have Emily Ingham, supposed to have our first volleyball coach come on. Unfortunately, seems like a conflict might put us out of that. That's okay. Girls soccer is the fall sport in Sumner County.
That's correct.
One of the more successful fall sports. Don't want to say the. Cross country has its successes year in and year out and deserves some love. And golf every now and then has a couple of good years. And volleyball deserves its due credit too. But girls soccer is such a competitive sport across this area. We're joined now by Gallatin's girls and boys soccer coach Greg Harper. Coach Harper, let's start there. What makes girls soccer so successful in Sumner County?
Well, I think you have a lot of good travel programs in and around the mid-state. I think you have not me necessarily, but you have some excellent head coaches, and then talent. I mean, there's just. I'm very fortunate at Gallatin High School. It started back in 2016. The run we're on right now with players like Sierra Lee, who just completed her college career at Maryville. Now she's going to be my girls' assistant coach.
Oh, nice.
Right, and then Emma Donnelly, who played goalkeeper at Sanford. NCAA tournament a couple times. She'll probably be back with us next year as another assistant coach. So, talent, travel. The club scene is good. And just I think you got a lot of pretty solid coaches in the area, and I know we're blessed at Gallatin High School for our girls soccer players. I mean, we got some excellent players, excellent athletes, and then more importantly, just excellent students. We won the TSSAA award last year for GPA being, I think, over 3.8 for like 40 girls.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, my girls, they take care of business on and off the field. Love them to death, and, they work real hard. Very excited for the season.
Talking about talent, Gallatin's girls soccer team has that yet again. Olivia Strong committed to Lipscomb over the winter,
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
yes.
And then Kate Thomas committed recently to Mount St. Joseph University. Talk about those two players in particular, maybe your roster as a whole, and the talent that lies in that team.
Right. Well, like I said, Olivia is probably, I wouldn't be going out on too much of a limb if I said she's not the best player I've coached in my 20-plus years high school, and then, 10 before that of travel soccer. She's just excellent all-around player, and then she's so athletic, which even, makes it so much better. She'll be, knock on wood, a healthy year. She's faced a lot of adversity,
Yes.
Great freshman season, leads our team to the state tournament first time in school history, and then ACL, back to back, and she just keeps battling, and she's going to do great things this year. I think she'll do great things in college. Kate Thomas really just came on year after year, improved. Those are our two, along with sophomore Sawyer Cooper. That's those three are the midfield right now, and we got other players that are coming in and out that are battling right now for a job. Other players, our goalkeeper Audrey Davis is really good, solid.
One thing that happens in Gallatin consistently is strong goalkeeper play.
That's the only thing I can coach, man. I was one, and I think that's the only thing I can coach. And we've been very lucky to have kids come in that want to train. Training as goalkeepers is not the easiest thing in the world, and we put them through it. I train the keepers every day for about 30 minutes before we even get started. So, yeah, I mean, we've just been lucky. That's what I put to. We have kids come in and want to do it. And that's half the battle with the goalkeeper. I mean, that's how I started. one of the coaches said, "Hey, you want to play goal? We need a goalkeeper." And I'm like, I've seen a little bit of it. And then I started as a freshman and 8th grader, and then it worked out great for me. So Audrey as our keeper right now. We got Skylar High, another senior on the wing, lots of speed, very, very, very good athlete. And then we got Ava Hessen that's probably going to be playing the center forward, the 9. Really good at holding the ball, doing the things she needs to do, very aggressive. We just got a mix. I mean, we got a good Mary Kate Kelly out on the wing, Max Kelly's sister. She's in the same, athletic as, all get out and works hard. So, and then we got girls coming, different like, Courtney Graves, Joanna Gonzalez, Madison Goodlicki in the back. So, I mean, we lost a couple really good players. Darla Shenton last year stands out. She was our 6th for like 3 years, so got to replace her. But, the biggest thing is they're very coachable. They don't, they just like to work hard, and they like to be coached hard, which is kind of unusual, but that's the only way I know. And, so they take everything that I throw out to them. And like I tell them, I said, sometimes you got to ignore the tone, hear the message, and let's go forward. But, yeah, I'm excited about it. We just got back from team camp at Western Kentucky. They did a great job up there. They won the team camp, which is like 3 out of the last 4 years. We lost last year in the finals to Bowling Green, which is a really good program up there. So they did a really good job this year. Their goal was we go in, we want to win this camp this year, Coach. And I said, well, it's up to you. And they did. And had to play back-to-back games to get that done, and they did it. And this tells you a little bit about their makeup and their character. I mean, like I said, I look forward to it every day going to practice, man.
Gallatin looking to compete in an always competitive district that still includes Hendersonville.
Right.
One thing that I did want to touch on, though, before we got out of here was the facility upgrades that are happening across the county. What challenges has that kind of put on the soccer pitch at Gallatin? Has there been a difficulty in practicing or things like that?
Well, once we walk over all the mounds of dirt and avoid getting hit by a crane, we do get to practice. But I've been assured by Dr. Langford that we will be able to. We open up on August 5th, first home scrimmage against Bowling Green. We will be able to get fans in. The field itself's fine. I mean,
it's just a matter of seating.
It's a matter of, we got the seats, but just getting to the stadium, getting to the field. And they said it's going to be all squared away. And then, of course, the track will be built. I would think, talking to the project manager the other day, somewhere around March. So, right now we got a big retention pond. That's an issue. If balls go over that back fence near the scoreboard, I mean, I'm not going to send one of my girls down there to get it because they might not make it back out. So, yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. And, it's day to day. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, I told my wife, I can't control it, so I'm not going to really worry about it too much. I'm going to take care of the field like always, and we're going to practice every day, try to get better. And, hey, I can't control it. I'm not driving the bulldozer out there. So, but, yeah, the girls are, they walk down the hills in the dirt and get out on the field, and we practice. So, yeah, we're fine.
One more quick one for you. Sectional team last year, been sectional team the year before.
Yeah, right? Well, yeah. This senior group has a state tournament appearance, three sectionals.
Another state tournament in mind, I'm assuming.
Well, I want to get out of district. That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to, because we got Hendersonville always top notch, and Devin does a great job with those girls. Mm-hmm. We got Mount Juliet's got talent. You can't overlook anybody. I think our district is in the top 4 in the whole state. If you just look at it, So, yeah, it'd be like I told the girls start out. I said last year's last year. That's not going to affect this year, other than the fact you've got some experience. We got to go forward this year and see what we can do. let's focus on getting out of. Let's win a district. You know what I'm saying? Or let's just get out of district. Either one. That's the key. Is getting out of district.
Thank you to Gallatin coach Greg Harper for joining us, concluding our Gallatin section of Sumner County Media Days. Wraps up our second school today. When we come back, we'll be talking to Portland coach Hunter Hicks, some players, some coaches, even Principal David Woods. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back after a brief break.